And she said it was fear-mongering. Meanwhile, doctors are being threatened just for performing life-saving healthcare.
Republicans, they never future-proof, so their tactic is always like pain and suffering on Democrats. We're gonna own them. And then you find situations like this where a lawmaker has to get an abortion and she can't, and then she has to text over Ron DeSantis.
And the unfortunate thing is they're all in positions of privilege where they don't actually ever have to be affected.
2 people have died being detained. A mother lost a child, and then another person died while being detained as well. They love to say pro-life. People are dying under their watch.
This affects everyone, whether you are conservative or not.
There's just so much hell happening in the United States.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A story that I saw recently that I could not believe my eyes is a Republican woman named Kamik. She had an ectopic pregnancy, and she went to the hospital in Florida, explained her situation, and the doctors were super hesitant or resistant even to like give her any drugs that would help with the pregnancy. And she's like, but my life is at risk. And they're like, but our licenses are at risk. Like, there's a bill, we can't do this anymore. Like, no, we're gonna lose it. And so she's calling up, like, I think it was Rob DeSantis or whatever the governor is, and she's like complaining about the situation that she voted for, because not only is she Republican, she's the co-chair for one of the anti-abortion clinics, but she eventually gets approved, gets to get rid of the ectopic pregnancy, and she blames Democrats for the reason she struggled. And the reason this like pisses me off so much is because she's like, people are saying, thank God we had abortion services, but what I had wasn't an abortion.
Definition of what an abortion is? Yes,
what you got.
You did,
Yeah.
and
What
you
you got.
probably took the pill that
Is being outlawed.
That is being outlawed because it triggers abortion.
I love when, you know, they'll ask reporters or people will ask questions, and then the Republican lawmakers will be like, well, it depends on what your definition of this is. Like, no, there's
Yeah,
only
every
one
time.
definition.
And she said it was fear-mongering at its most extreme. Meanwhile, doctors are being threatened with a fine of $5,000, up to 5 years in prison, and they can lose their medical license just for performing life-saving health care. And what's frustrating is we see a woman who voted against these things. No, excuse me. She supports abortion only in cases of rape and incest. Or, I guess, an ectopic pregnancy, which she doesn't consider an abortion.
Right.
It's just insane to me, though, because then we have in Georgia that poor woman who was kept alive, brain dead, so that her baby could be birthed. Her body was decomposing, literally around the fetus.
Yeah.
And this Kamik can get whatever she wants because she calls a governor. You voted for this. Like, actively you voted to make this harder. And
the privilege to have DeSantis' number that she can just text or call him up and be like, oh my God, I'm in this situation.
Yeah.
Can you step in?
And you think that would be really eye-opening to realize that, like, she, in that position, was in danger.
Yeah.
And hundreds, thousands of women are in that same position and don't have Rob DeSantis' no phone number on speed dial. And moreover, like, you're voting for these things. This is what I've been noticing a lot recently, is the way that the conservatives or the right is just kind of like switching their tune and being like, but it's your guys' fault. You didn't explain this to us right. And it's like, when the left was like, hey, Project 25 is coming, all of these bills are dangerous, all of this is going to affect every American, we should all unite against this thing. And the right was like, nah, you guys are just trying to get ahead of us. Like, you guys are just trying to make us feel stupid. How do you feel now?
Yeah.
Like, I think all of us have been on the same side. Like, we don't care what you believe in. We just want to make sure that we are all taking care of ourselves.
Like, this affects everyone, whether
Everyone.
you are conservative or
Left,
not.
right, moderate,
like,
progressive.
Most abortions are medically necessary.
Yeah, and this woman, she's pregnant again and due by this summer. And what a privilege to be able to get this life-saving health care, because there have been so many women who were denied abortions and now they can never have children again, ever. And like,
And that's
think,
on you.
You think that'd be eye-opening to understand, like, oh, maybe those laws we passed like are actually doing a lot of harm. Because you're blaming the doctors for being unwilling to go against a bill that you put in front of them. Like, you actively made this a reality for yourself, and then you tried to punish the Democrats.
Well, Republicans don't ever future-proof. And so whenever they pass bills, it's merely out of the punishment of we're going to own the libs. And you see this again and again and again where, you know, they'll vote against some bill or some bill will get passed that actually is beneficial. And then Republicans who bashed it will then take credit for it, like when it comes to infrastructure or chips or the Recovery Act. Like, all these different things that passed during Biden or even Obama, like, but definitely under Biden, they would like push and say they didn't support. And then it was actually showing to be beneficial to these communities, and then they would show up with a big check and be like, look at what I did for you guys, despite the fact that they voted against it. But Republicans, they never future-proof, and so their tactic is always like pain and suffering on Democrats. We're gonna cause it because we're gonna own them or whatever it is. And then you find situations like this where somebody who's literally a lawmaker finds herself in a position where she has to get an abortion and she can't, and then she has to text over Ron DeSantis. And then on top of that, you look at how doctors don't want to go to certain states anymore. Like there was an outbreak with syphilis that was being spread where newborns were getting it. And then you've got outbreaks of measles that are happening and things like that, where it's like you've got RFK Jr. saying, he's publishing a study that's AI generated content. I mean, literally at the time of filming this earlier this morning, they had questioning to be like, where did you ever proofread or have the citations to prove these claims that you made? And he was like, oh, I didn't have to read it, or, I didn't have to read it, or whatever he says. They never do.
I didn't have to read it.
That's
his
You can't
disgusting ass voice.
Yeah.
You can't read.
But to the point of they expect us to educate them. Like, why didn't you explain it to us?
We tried.
We tried, but also it's like maybe look at your Republican lawmakers for defunding the Department of Education and removing educational resources and trying to put in Bibles and the 10 Commandments in your classroom, as opposed to teaching you about,
Contraception.
or literacy,
Yeah.
or like arithmetic or whatever it might be. But like they always say, we're going to own the libs. And as a result, they end up owning themselves within like a year or two of something that happens to go, well, the Dems, and you're like, no.
And the unfortunate thing is they're all in positions of privilege where they don't actually ever have to be
Right.
affected by and then when they are affected, no,
Right.
they're not.
They've got 6-figure salaries, they got healthcare, they got security, they get housing, they get travel, and then what do all of us get? Whatever scraps are left.
So I'm never leaving California, ever, ever. And the red states who continue to make their own lives harder are going to have natural selection hit them incredibly hard because you guys fucked you fucked your healthcare professionals. You made them fearful. We didn't do that. Those are laws in place by you. $5,000, 5 years in prison, losing something you've worked and have hundreds of thousands of dollars of school debt for. Yeah.
As we speak, ICE is all over our state and our city right now.
Yeah.
Which brings us to our other terrible topic. ICE is still just doing f***ed up shit in LA. They're going to people's place of employment and kidnapping them.
Mm-hmm.
The Supreme Court recently ruled that the Trump administration can send these people wherever the they want.
Yeah.
So that's happening. And they're not double checking that these people are citizens. There is no court case. There is no due process. People are just being taken because of how they look. They detained people who were working at a car wash.
Yeah.
And just like scooped them up.
Dodger Stadium.
Dodger Stadium apparently did not let ICE in, although ICE is parking unmarked vehicles near Dodger Stadium. So that's cool. Yeah, it's just really not good. Another thing that I've seen a lot of people talk about is that it's so interesting that the whole thing the administration said they were going to do is they're like, we're going to get the criminals off the street. We're going to get the criminals off the street. That's why these people have to be deported. So why are you going to people's place of employment? Why are you going to just like regular, like well-off neighborhoods, places where people
Churches,
are
like
just
churches.
living their lives? But crazy enough, neighborhoods that are known gang territory where people who you could presume are actual criminals, the criminals that you're trying to get rid of. Why? Oh, how interesting. The ICE doesn't go there.
Because they know exactly what the they're doing and they know they'd get murdered if they went to
Yeah.
those places.
It's just crazy.
So they should try.
And like even to that point, I'm like, those people would deserve due process as well. Everybody does.
Yeah.
You cannot prove that somebody is anything.
I mean, yeah.
And even if they are murderers, they don't deserve to be shipped off to somebody.
I mean, I see countless videos every day. You know, I try to like reshare whether it's the car wash, you know, like, and it's everyday people too who are like seeing this and like. I would almost say that in California now, especially in the LA area, we are now like primed to be like unmarked truck, unmarked van,
Slashing
tinted
your
windows.
tires.
They're like, people are like, oh, okay, got it. we see these guys who are, wearing sunglasses, who are just monitoring or sitting in a truck or a van or whatever. People now are like on alert, because not only is this like extremely traumatizing and causing PTSD for the Latino community, but also just like Angelenos, we're now like on alert to be like, all right, if I see something in Highland Park where I live, then I want to look out. Like if I see something in Echo Park, where you are, like it's any time I'm traveling now, and as well as with other people who live in Los Angeles, expecting that you're going to see something in an area where you were like, there's a lot of day laborers or construction workers or people who live here who are Latino or whatever. And so you're ready to go to be like, oh, these guys have been walking up and down weirdly from the block, or these guys have been circling this, or these, whatever it might be. And we've now come to a point where it's like, it's up to us. It's up to everyday people to be calling it out, shaming them, harassing them, kicking them out, and Bell.
On Waze, on maps, Icy Roads are being reported. I mean, Citizen is never not updated. Right. I got a notification yesterday, 800 feet away from me. I didn't see it. Someone forcibly put into a vehicle. That was all the notification said. And I'm like, God, I wish I weren't so sure about what that was. Mm-hmm. It's just hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really bad. And then people are, of course, like protesting and fighting back, but that people are being kidnapped. U.S. citizens are being kidnapped. Like, we're not taking... Even if you're like, oh, I really want all of the illegal immigrants out of here, like, that's not what's happening either.
You're stupid for even thinking that, because the economy runs on them, job sites run on them, they are the backbone of the system and community, and you're doing this to children. Like, point blank, period. I don't give a if they're here illegally. Like, and I've said that before, like, I truly don't care if they're functioning members of society. Nobody leaves their home unless there's extenuating circumstances, and God forbid people come to America, the land of the brave and the free, expecting that, and they're being shipped to Sudan. Oh, it makes me so furious.
And any Republicans who are like, oh, they just like siphon off the system and the wealth, and this is like, all right, well,
they're actually stupid.
It's like in 2022, it was reported it was like $96.1 billion had been collected in taxes, because like people don't just work here and they're like, oh man, they're just like milking the system and all. It's like they pay into it. These undocumented immigrants come in.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, these undocumented immigrants, it's not like they're just like working and like collecting everything on their table. These things are being reported. They're paying taxes on it. So when people are like, well, we got to get rid of them. Okay, so not only are you going to break the backbone of the working class in America for these jobs that you pay under minimum wage.
That none of them are going to work.
None of them. And then on top of that, you're going to cripple the economy, and then also remove, which that was 2022, so I can only expect it's far greater than $100 billion right now, that you're going to remove that. Like, that doesn't seem very efficient.
I just don't understand how ICE hasn't been like, if Newsom is against them, if all this, like, I don't understand how they're like, and also in Bell, California, law enforcement and fire department united to stop it. So I'm like, what are we doing? You want LA to lead the way? Like, let us do it. Like, come on.
That's the thing, is that generally, and this has not happened with all LAPD, the LA I'm not going to say LAPD is great ever. I would say for the most part, like, local law enforcement has been like, go away. Like, get out of here.
Even before it all went down, they were like, we don't need your help. Do not federalize bringing the National Guard. Do not bring in the Marines, where a majority of these people who are just been trained, by the way, these Marines is like straight
idiots, by the
from
way. No offense,
training.
Some offense.
Yeah. But they are, chomping at the bit. They've gone through basic training, all this stuff, and now they're like ready to go, and you're putting a bunch of people who are not experienced in riot control or protests to now be like, all right, well, you've got a loaded gun. What are we going to do?
Yeah, and the first citizen they arrested was a black man, and you could tell he literally had like his headphones in and was like carrying something. He's like, what am I?
Right.
Like, the federal government has put us in more danger in the last month alone.
2 people have died under being detained. A mother lost a child, and pro-life they are, and then another person died while being detained as well. So it's like, they love to say pro-life, and they love to say this and that, and it's like, people are dying under their watch, and it's negligence, and it's intentional, and it's torture, and to the point of like citizens, I see videos every day where people in my neighborhood and other neighborhoods in LA where somebody's getting harassed, thrown to the ground, and then somebody comes up to be like, I'm filming this, what's going on? Like,
and then they get thrown.
Right, these people, and then you find out that they're actually citizens, and they go, okay, and then they leave. After terrorizing, traumatizing these people, family members, regular people who are like, I'm just going to go get something to eat. Nope, you're not.
We need to start attacking ICE while wearing American flag T-shirts and like Navy wear. Like I don't know.
Something I just read yesterday or heard yesterday was there were reports, and I have not confirmed this, but from what I understand, this is true, is a lot of these like ICE agents aren't actual ICE agents.
They're volunteers.
They're deputized correctional officers and volunteers, and people were giving commentary, be like, oh, like I have family members who are correctional officers, and or like I am a correctional officer, or I was, or whatever it is, and people chiming in to be like, these are people you do not want in the situation because they are constantly in a highly pressurized vacuum of I work at a prison, I work at a jail, whatever it is, and there's like always on alert to like stop this fight or do this or this person's getting attacked or whatever, and then they go out onto the street and they just like let it all out. And so it's these people who have not been trained properly.
No, and look at their shoes. They're not wearing tactical. They're wearing Converse and Vans.
Yeah.
And then they're threatening us, and it's like you get $1,500 for each person you bring in. I saw that somewhere. I don't know how true that is.
I just am like,
also,
you're volunteering to do this. Something's wrong with you.
Some people are messed
Something is wrong with you, and that is not the people. That's not the type of person that I want to be handling this situation.
Right.
Like, I want it to be somebody who is, like, highly trained, who understands the law, not some random dude who's like, yeah, I actually do want to, like, ruin people's lives. That was, like, really cool. Beating my wife and kids isn't enough for me.
Yeah.
Like, you.
Yep. I also saw a video. It was in California, SoCal. I can't remember exactly which like borough I want to call it of Southern California, but it was two ladies at a shop. They're eating, and there's 7 men around them, and they're like, "No, we're with ICE," and they're like, "No, you're not."
That was at Hermosillo.
Yeah, close to you, right?
Yeah. And so that one.
And you see a guy he sees he's being recorded, and he takes his badge, puts it in his shirt.
Yeah, that was the whole thing of like there was confusion of like were they ICE? They claimed that they were ABC. And then I think the police got involved after that. But yeah, it was 2 women who were sitting on the patio area.
Yeah, just
and
eating.
They were questioned as to like what they were. And so yeah, there was a lot of like they said they were ABC, but are they ICE? Like it was a whole thing. And like, but they're definitely in the neighborhood. Like there's a supermarket that's right nearby, and there's liquor stores that are down the street from there where they have been reported on multiple occasions where they just show up and they're just like hanging out. Where people are like, "What are you doing here? What are you doing here? And like, I've also seen other people who were tailing ICE. And ICE came out of, like, stopped at a stop, like, in the middle of the street, got out of the car and started banging on this person's car to be like, why are you following us? Why are you tracking us? Like, well...
You don't like it?
Why are you doing it to other people?
Are you a little uncomfortable?
Yeah. The people who try to cosplay and be like, oh, I'm doing this. And then, they end up trying to, like, attack, rape women.
I'm actually bringing, like, a pocket knife. I'm starting to slash tires. That's what's going to happen here.
It really has come to the point where...
No, we got it.
That did happen, right?
Yeah, that did happen. That was like I want to say like 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was like early on, but it was like this person came in and was wearing something that they bought off Amazon and then terrorized a woman and attempted rape. And it was like the silver lining of this happening in LA is the aspect of community that is really being developed because we are establishing ourselves to say like, okay, we're not going to deal with this bullshit.
No.
And obviously the really bad part of this is we've got a bunch of people who are cosplaying and terrorizing other people just for the fun of it. And it's like, what are we doing? And it's all developed under Donald Trump, right? He has isolation tactics. He is trying to separate us from the rest of the world.
It's working.
And on that same side, it's like what's happening domestically. If you look at internationally, he's attacking, which, oh my God, this whole thing is like every day we hear more about this Iran bombing or attack on Tehran. And we hear like not only did they do a decoy mission to distract Donald Trump so he would not truth it out on Truth Social because that's how much they don't trust him. We find out that, it wasn't completely obliterated. We find out that he warned Iran beforehand, and he was also like signaling to them on Truth Social to be like, we're gonna, big surprise coming, we're doing this. We find out through photos and video that they had evacuated, if not all of their nuclear enrichment that they were using. Then you find out that Iran is pre-warning Trump on the attacks to the bases. And all of this, you have MAGA being like, well, I didn't vote for new wars, right?
Oh, I've actually seen the opposite.
Right,
I've
right.
actually seen them turn their tune and be like, oh, just kidding.
Right. So you have the people who are like, I'm a no new wars person, and you're coming back on and not delivering on this. You got Alex Jones, you've got Joe Rogan, you've got Tucker Carlson who is coming at him. But keep in mind, Tucker Carlson is a Russian asset, so you have to understand like how that dynamic works. He's never going to be your friend, despite you maybe agreeing with what he's saying. But when it comes to MAGA, a lot of them initially were like infighting. Marjorie Taylor Greene, Steve Bannon, Alex Jones, all of them, and then they got their orders, and they said, oh, no, actually, Donald Trump attacking Iran was actually going to give us peace. He delivered peace. Without Donald Trump, we never would have peace. And the reason we have to do this now is because of Obama. Even though Obama negotiated the arms deal with Iran, and then
accountability, please.
And then when Trump came in office, he ripped it up, and this is why we are where we are right now. And I honestly believe that the reason that Donald Trump and the rest of MAGA now have switched their tune to say he deserves a Nobel Peace Prize for delivering peace, despite the fact that it's like going across and punching your neighbor in the face and then being like, cool, we're good. I preemptively attacked you so that you wouldn't do it to me, but we're friends now.
Yeah, exactly. I just vibes were that you were going to do something crazy. So
yeah, like
I just punched you.
I got a sense.
Now we don't have to do anything crazy.
And then now they switched their tune. And literally, I followed the comments yesterday as Donald Trump announced this ceasefire. Now MAGA is changing their tune slightly to say that he deserves the Nobel Peace Prize because he negotiated peace.
Give him an island. Just put them all there with him. It would be all the same colored people. They would never have to worry about anything.
Yeah.
Everyone can have babies because there's no contraceptive. You won't have to worry about any health care because no doctors are going to want to be there. It sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Leave us alone. We don't want these wars.
I would very much love to. Maybe, you know what? I would honestly watch that reality TV show just to see what kind of society and civilization they could create if they were on an island by themselves. And I'd be like, great, Lord of the Flies, I want to see what happens. And I can know for a fact that
you have to give me all of the coconuts. You, Trump. We're sacrificing you for dinner tonight. No, he'd be too gamey. That's how I'd see it.
If your family members or friends are like excusing the inhumane things that Donald Trump and his administration are doing,
uncomfy.
it's like there has to be a line. And the question is like, what is that line for you? And obviously that's up to you and what you have to decide. But like, I feel like we've definitely crossed that line many months ago. And
I just truly can't imagine still speaking to somebody who supports this. That person is
in the last 6
good.
months, or even I guess actually 5 months and 6 months, 5 months and 5 days, pretty much at this point. It is really crashed the economy, destroyed jobs, introduced tariffs, started new wars, terrorized humans or Americans, deporting people, kidnapping illegally. There's a reason why the courts themselves are now saying this person that you kept in a cell for 104 days because they did this or they were at these protests or they said these things or whatever. There's a reason why the courts now are like, yeah, that was illegal. You got to give them due process. You can't just throw them into a hole and then expect them to just go away and die. I don't want to have to say, I told you so, but I fucking told you so. We all told you so.
Anyway, my mental health is tapping out from this convo. Let's read a review. Speaking of mental health, so we have a comment on our grievance journal from Miss Ariel Kolk. Her title says, Path to Catharsis, and she says, gifted to one who needed an outlet and very well received. So if you are sick of punching the air or biting your tongue, get the grievance journal. It will help. And our comment for today was left from Kit Perkins on a video. Kit.
K-I-T, like Kit Kat,
on a video I assume I was in that said, absolutely think the redhead is an amazing actress.
Oh, okay. I honestly thought you were going to go with a negative comment, so I was surprised.
No, it's my last podcast week for a while, so I said, let's go out with
I am a great actress.
I said, and you know what? That's enough negativity.
And the award goes to?
And it's like, and someone called Gabe hot this week.
Yeah, that was wild. Yeah, did not see that one coming.
We're moving on to our Delve Deck portion where we answer a question and make our moods feel better before we end this podcast. Yeah.
So let's start dark.
I have the venting edition, and I'm going to go middle. And whoa, what do we have here? What do you wish you spent less time doing?
Any sort of like this is cleaning or chores. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
I hate that. I hate cleaning.
Yeah.
I really
I don't want to do laundry anymore. Sorry. That's it.
I was promised a robot cleaning person, and all I have is a Roomba, and that thing gets caught in my socks.
That Roomba. Oh, I have one as well, and I run it. If you have pets, it's like it's nice to have to like maintain it. Roomba sucks.
Yeah.
It's really it's better than nothing, but like that's the bar there. This Roomba's I don't know about it. Also, like cleaning the Roomba afterwards, it's not just emptying. It's like, okay, now I got to pull the brushes out and like rip off any hair that it like picked up and stuff. I'm like, is this more convenient for me? I don't know. I keep using it for some reason.
Mine would be talking, or I guess paying attention to politics. I really missed 2021 when I was just like graduating college, and I was like, sure there was COVID, but I was like, it's college, and I'm happy, and oh my God, there's no rights, and then and every day I literally feel so much fatigue with just like every new news story, everything we talk about.
I wish I could spend less time having to drive places.
My
Yeah,
You know?
fuck driving.
Traffic, don't like it. Don't like it at all. It's terrible. But if I could find a way without having to spend a lot of money, like with Ubers, or like put it on to someone else, like I just wish like we had better public transportation.
Yes.
You know, like if there
Love
was
a
an
train.
actual train system or a light rail or whatever it might be, where I was like, great, I can get from point A to point B, or I can teleport, whatever it might be.
Teleporting would be the ideal situation.
Yeah.
Trains are next.
What has someone said to you that will stick with you forever?
When I was in college, I took a radio class, and as our final like project for the class, we had to host an hour on the college radio station. It got recorded. Our professor reviewed it and then gave us feedback. And his feedback for me was just, honestly, your voice is just like bad.
Oh.
It's just like kind of. It's like it's just I don't know the way you talk. You're really never gonna be on radio or TV or anything, so I don't know that this is right for you. And so anyway,
First off,
I
hold on.
will never forget that.
First
Thank you
off,
so much, Professor, whose name I don't remember.
Where is this professor so we can slash their tires? 2, that's bullshit. 3, also, Tess is on TV right now, dude. She's got a commercial. So, suck on that, Professor.
And I'm on multiple podcasts, so guess
Boom!
what? Fucking listen to me talk. I don't care if my voice is annoying. You know what? If RFK Jr. gets to speak at all, if he's allowed to fucking ever speak, I can talk to.
Yeah.
My voice is at least a step up from that. So, you know.
He sounds like a gremlin. The one thing that I've heard that's always stuck with me is like, what you say matters, and like how you say it really matters. And so whenever I'm talking to someone or whatever, like I want to make sure that, whatever intent is behind it, or, whether it's even speaking up about something. So like, using this podcast, right. And like having that platform or that medium to like talk about stuff that's important to us. I feel like having a voice matters, especially right now, while we still have it. But I think, what you say does matter, and it can change, I think it can change people's, their mood. It can change their lives. It can be motivational. It can be, inspirational.
It can be hurtful.
It can be hurtful. But yeah, I think like maybe when I was a kid, I said something, my mom was like, what you say matters. And then like I said, I've heard that like different variations of that growing up.
I'm going to do the Joy deck, and just as a fun little reminder for all of us, what makes life most worth living?
My cat.
Yeah. Cats.
My cat.
Yeah, I'd say my friends and, well, my wife, my friends.
I was going to say.
Yeah. And also my dogs, too.
Yeah, I feel like it's the people that you surround yourself with and the experiences that you have. Like, everything's fucking terrible, but you can go cuddle your animal and you can hang out with people who make you happy and go do fun things and have new experiences and go outside. And that's what makes life worth living. And maybe all these people who are terrorizing all of us need to remember that and go have a drink or something. Go figure your life out.
Yeah,
go
well,
have
they
some
haven't-
fun.
They
Yeah.
haven't been to a national park in years. They just hang out in Newport Beach with their Lululemons, so they don't really...
It's just
Yeah.
like,
Well-
just go do something nice.
Well, anyway, that's it for the Boardwalk podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. Remember to fight fascism. Order the Delve decks. If you want them, you can get them at boardwalk.com for $28 and hours of endless fun and conversational topics. Until then, we love you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Bye.
Bye.